Namaste, beautiful people. Natasha Anand here. I was recently at a half-day health and well-being workshop on the panel and also delivering a workshop, and I was asked a really beautiful question, and I want to share the response with you because it really got me thinking about self-care in a different light. The question that I was asked was, why do women struggle with putting their own needs first? Wow, what a big question, eh? And we talked about this for a while, and we could talk about this for days. It is, uh, it is a, it is the $1,000,000 question. What's really interesting about the event is so reflective of so many of the groups and the circles that I find myself in, of practitioners and therapists talking about self-care and the work that they do. And it tends to be a lot of women. A lot of women are doing this work, predominantly women. Yet, there still are men. And I don't necessarily hear a massive difference between what the men say their challenges are in accessing self-care and what the women say their challenges in accessing self-care are. So what I'm saying is, actually, it feels as if some of the reasons that women find it challenging to put their own needs first are likely to be similar to or the same some of the reasons why men also find it difficult or challenging to put their own needs first. So that was the first reflection that I had, that there isn't necessarily a massive difference. And at the same time, what I do recognize is that women have, yes, absolutely, often more caring responsibilities. They are involved in unpaid work more. They're often volunteering more. They're often caregivers in their families. And so women are often in a position where they have the least amount of time to put into themselves and to put into their self-care. So I just wanted to state that up front. And I'm also addressing this idea of why women might find it more difficult than men. I thought about, as women, we have a womb. Okay, we are creative beings. As humans, we're creative beings. But as women, this is what we do. We create life. And whether you've had children or not, you've got a womb. And this is our creative center. And this creativity is this beautiful energy, this pure energy of love and of light that wants to come out into the world and create and share. What happens is often our mental programming, our programming that's hardwired into us to do and achieve, gets transferred into this creativity. So we feel that we've got to be productive with our creativity. We've got to do. So those of us who have this desire and this knowing that we are here to serve the planet, we want to create with that, we want to share with that, but we're weaving in this energy also of productivity and achieving it and wanting to do it right and wanting to be seen and having a job and a boss and making sure that we fulfill all of that, that people are relying on us. And as emotional beings, we really feel empathically, we feel the energy of our clients, of the people we're serving, and that fuels our drive to be productive. And so when we do that, the amount of time and energy and space that we're leaving for our own self-care is naturally going to be smaller or perhaps not be as prioritized. So I feel that's one of the reasons why women in particular we're so creative, we want to give so much, we really feel that we have this role, yet we have this strong, productive, achieving energy behind it, and that drives us to the point of putting our needs second. Now, there's a reason why I believe that everybody, regardless of your gender, why everybody is likely to struggle to put their own needs first. And that's because of fear. And I'm going to link with this fear self-worthiness. Okay? So if our sense of ourself, if our identity is heavily impacted by our feelings of our self-worth, our deservedness or deservingness, our deserving power, if we have low self-worth, if we don't believe that we deserve this amount of attention and love from ourselves, then that is going to influence how much energy and time and space and effort we devote to our self-care naturally. And it will be an unconscious thing. It's not like I'm sat here and I'm like, I don't believe I'm worthy. I don't believe I deserve it, so I'm not going to spend the time and do it. It is an ingrained just way and part of our being. Often it's very ancestral, okay? Often we can see the patterns in our parents, in our uncles and aunts, in our grandparents. For me, certainly, it was very ancestral. It was a survival thing. We had to just do and put our own needs last. And so these feelings of self-worthiness and deservedness, absolutely, when they are intense, they are impacting the level of self-care and self-practice we give ourselves, because ultimately it's about self-love. Self-care is about self-love. And if our self-love, our self-worthiness is low, our self-love is low. And what's underlying the feeling of self-worthiness or not deserving? It's fear. It's fear that underlies it. And fear, we also have fear of going into ourselves. So when we care for ourselves and we practice, we go inwards, we self-inquire. And for some of that, that's scary, because maybe there's a Pandora's box that's being opened of unresolved stuff. And so we may not realize that actually we have a fundamental underlying fear of going into that stuff. And so it's just easier to distract ourselves and not give time and energy to self-care, because then we don't have to go there. And I believe that's something that affects all of us, not just women. You know, it's something that I see with with all men, all women. And I think all in some way have experienced a touch of that in some way. The fear that's blocking us from going into our self-care, the fear of what's going to come up, but also that's impacting our sense of self-worth and self-confidence, self-esteem as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's something that I just found really fascinating. And when I was asked, what can we do about this? My answer is only and always self-awareness, self-inquiry, self-mastery. So the idea of self-mastery isn't actually to become this version of a master or a guru. Self-mastery is a beingness, it's a process, it's a state. It's simply a devotion to self-inquiry, to want to be more self-aware, to then see what is it that I'm carrying, what is it that I'm holding, what do these triggers say about what's within there unresolved that wants to be healed? What does my sense of self-worthiness say about what's unresolved within me? What does that sense of the fear that I have toward my expansion, what does that say about what I'm carrying, and where could I start to address that? Often we just jump straight into I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that to heal. I'm going to go to this retreat, and I'm going to go to this ceremony, and I'm going to invest in this, therapist. And actually, for me, the ground zero approach is really important, which is just starting to acknowledge that there's stuff there, and just tuning in and checking in with actually how willing am I to do this? Because if I'm actually deep down not willing to look at this, I'm afraid to look at this, then I'm going to make all the excuses in the world, and I'm going to sign up to things, but when it comes to it, I'm not going to log on, and I'm not going to turn up to it. So start by gently inquiring within yourself, where am I at? What is here? Starting to gently look at it, starting to gently move the body and feel into it, become embodied, become in touch with your feelings. And from there, you'll know where to start, where to begin, and where to go. often starting with just cultivating that willingness to sit with myself and to want to invest in my self-care is often the place that we really actually could be starting. So thank you so much for joining in this transmission. I so appreciate you and honor you for your journey. Please feel free to drop me a line anytime. Please comment on this video, like it, let me know how it resonated with you, and please, please, please share this with others that you know it's going to impact. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.